Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to be here with you, distinguished participant. I sincerely say thanks to Dr. Riorius and the anthropologists for inviting me here. But I think that I was called by the goddess of wisdom here. I know that another heroine of the Greek myth, Pandora, she is mother of all disasters, and I'm afraid that Pandora loves Japan. Because we had a very gigantic disaster in the last year, March 11, 2011. It's a very complex of earthquake and the tsunami and radioactive pollution. Tsunami is a Japanese word which means harbor wave. Therefore, it is we call it a triple disaster. Damage of disaster depends on the nature of disaster. Therefore, damage of these disasters different from each other. Earthquake and tsunami kills many victims in the acute phase, but nuclear pollution don't. The health problem with the nuclear pollution is a chronic problem. Also, the earthquake and the tsunami may cause a contagious disease in the affected area, but it's quite rare in nuclear pollution. But in the case of nuclear pollution, the people in that area must move away. Migration is often the case. I said tsunami and earthquake and the tsunami will kill many people. But if you add the detail, it's different. Because, earthquake kills, but most of the people got injured by earthquake. But in the case of tsunami, the wave wiped out all injured people. Because those who cannot run away by themselves will be withdrawn to the ocean. Therefore, this case is much popular in tsunami. Therefore, this is a list of the major earthquakes and tsunami. Upper four are the earthquake only. In the Hanshin was in 1995. The death toll is about 6,000, but injured 43,000. And Miyagi was in 2008, and Niigata Chuetsu Oki and Niigata Chuetsu. The situation is the same. Therefore, the morbidity mortality ratio is like 6.8, 19, 156, 61. But if the earthquake was followed by tsunami, it's the ocean side, for Sanriku in 1891 and Sumatra. This is not in Japan, but Indonesia. But everything same. Morbidity mortality ratio is very low, less than 1. Especially in this case, East Japan earthquake and tsunami 2011, the number of deaths are 25,000 and injured is 5,000. Thank you. I said, what I want to say is that medical support in the acute phase is completely different among them. With the many disaster medical assistance team, DMAT, dispatched to the affected area. But in the case of Hanshin Awaji, they have a lot of works to do, but it's not. And this is Japan earthquake and tsunami. This is a picture of Miss Yamada, who is the nurse of my department, took. Almost the city area is wiped out. And also individual housing areas like that, nothing. And this is a hospital. The building of the hospital is all right, looks okay, but it lost its function. The epicenter of the earthquake is about 130 kilometers distance from the coast. And this area affected. This is the Japanese seismic squares. This affects almost the Pacific coast of the Honshu mainland of Japan. And I said that the distance is 130 kilometers. It means the tsunami takes more than 2 hours to reach the coast. Therefore, if we are not prepared enough, you can enough time to run away. Oh, this is a gas explosion of my city. I can see these fires from my hospital. It is because the gas tank of the industrial area is broken and fired. It's a kind of good show, but practical damage is not so big. Only one person got burned. That's all. No death. And in this area, were attacked by tsunami. This is the height of tsunami, 8.6, 7.3 or like that. In the Ohunat city, 11.8, higher than 10. And this area got a big damage by tsunami. Okay, this is a picture of Taro village. Taro village historically attacked again and again by tsunami, so therefore built at a 10-meter height bank. The seashore and the inside of the village, and they thought they did best. Look at, China built at a great wall against the northern tribes, but Taro village made it against the tsunami. But these big banks are completely broken down because it's out of expectation. But if I see the history, there is a picture of Sanriku tsunami in 1896. This is almost the same place. It is said that the height of tsunami is more than 10. Look at this. There's a boat on the hill. You can see the same scenery if you go to the area. There are some ships on the top of the building. So, from the historical point of view, it's a matter of course. It did the same thing. As a basic understanding, earthquake is unpredictable. So, the counter plan against earthquake is to build season-proof, quake-proof buildings. Therefore, the modern buildings in Japan can endure the highest class of earthquake. And also education, how to do when you meet the earthquake. And set up the shelters and the refuges, and build up a rescue system, and build up the logistics, like food, water, daily necessaries, and also information, electricity, drugs, and medical supplies. this is in Japanese kindergarten. They are under training what to do when the floor shakes. They go under the desks and protect their head and body. This is training. I don't know it is effective or not, but Japanese kids learn how to do in the case of earthquake. This is an earthquake simulator. In some event, there are a lot of earthquake simulators, and they showed up in some event. If you get in this car, and they can make different intense level of shaking, and you can feel what is it. For example, in the highest level of earthquakes like that. And experience will teach you what to do. And I believe it keeps yourself calm what to do in the case of an earthquake. This is Japanese style of earthquake education. Then, how about tsunami? Tsunami is different from earthquake. Tsunami born from earthquake, but the style of the damage is different. Tsunami is not a disaster until it reaches the coast where human beings live. It occurs in the ocean, but when it occurs, it's not a disaster. It tends to be a disaster when it reaches the coast where human beings live. Therefore, you have time to run away and to remove your boat offshore. It's a well-known thing that among the fishermen, if you feel a big earthquake, you go to harbor and start your boat and go offshore. It save your boat and save the village. Nobody says it's a disaster. If an earthquake occurs where nobody lives, monkeys, bears, deer, and other animals never say it's a disaster. Because it is a definition of disaster adopted by the WHO. Disaster is the result of a vast ecological breakdown in the relation between man and his environment, also women and her environment. A serious and sudden disruption on such a scale that the stricken community need extraordinary effort to cope with it, often with outside help or international aid. I mean that disaster is the matter of human beings. Therefore, tsunami itself, not a disaster. It tends to be a disaster when it reaches to the coast. Therefore, it's called the tsunami harbor wave. I say once again, tsunami takes time to reach coast. Tsunami is a subsequence of the ocean-borne earthquake. Therefore, in the Sanriku area, there is a saying that tsunami tendenko. Tendenko means help yourself. So this saying means that don't hesitate to run away without caring others. Even your child, even your parents, even your grandparents don't care. Because if you try to help them, you might lose your own lives. So it's better, one dead body is better than two. Therefore, run away by yourself. It is a lesson learned from repeated tsunami. Where to run? Where to go? Higher than wave height. If you go higher, even an inch higher than the wave height, you can save. But if not, you may lose your life. This is a statue of a famous folk tale. This is a landlord with a beacon in his hand. This landlord fired harvested rice crop to alarm village people. Okay, stories like that. This landlord saw the seawater moved away offshores in his mansion on the hill. And also he knew that it's a sign of tsunami. He thought that tsunami will come. So he thought that this must be notified to the village people, but it takes time to go down the hill and tell them all. Therefore, he decided to fire his property. He harvested rice crops and his house, because then he fired it, and the village people recognized it. Oh, there is a fire in the landlord's house. So they go up to the hill to extinguish a fire to help the landlord. But he said, no, this is an important fire, don't extinguish. To tell you all that tsunami is coming. This is alarm. And finally, tsunami has come and wiped out the whole village. But village people are saved. This is one famous history. History tale. And also, there is a stone monument in front of some temple. Little lesson. What to do in the case of a big earthquake and tsunami? And the stone monument indicate how to run away and where to go. For example, go this way to the hill or to the some kind of shrine. Don't go to the riverside or like that. It is education about tsunami. I mean, it's this disaster subculture. And we had one more bad thing in Fukushima. It's a breakdown of nuclear power plants caused by structural damage by earthquake and tsunami, and the power loss. I mean, electric power to cool down by earthquake and tsunami. And worse than that, there are hydrogen explosions. The same picture. This is the epicenter, and the power plant is like here. And this is the metropolitan Tokyo, and my city Ichihara is around here. So that the power plant was affected by very close to the epicenter. Here is the nuclear power point called Fukosima Daiichi. Look at these tsunamis. And the Fukosima Daiichi plant was settled, and the altitude is 10 meter. So it was expected that the highest tsunami must be less than 10. Therefore, Tokyo Electric Company set this plant at the level of 10-meter height. Time course of the nuclear disaster is like this. March 11, 2:46 p.m., the earthquake occurred, and 2 workers are killed by the collapse of the building in the nuclear plant. At this time, in my hospital, 3 operations were going on. But fortunately, there's no major damage. My hospital and all the patients are saved, and also the medical staffs are saved. Anyway, almost 4.25 hours after, 1903, declaration of the state of emergency. There's a declaration of the government that nuclear emergency situation dated. And 2023, order of evacuation was issued from the government. Order to the people within the 3-kilometer radius from the power plant. On the next day, 5:44 a.m., advice of evacuation, people within 10 kilometers. And unfortunately, that afternoon, the first hydrogen explosion occurred. 4 workers injured. And 6 p.m., the new order of evacuation, people within 20 kilometers. And also, though the inpatient, hospitalized patients, those who cannot run away by themselves are evacuated. But some are left. I'll tell you this matter. Then, emergent order of evacuation within 20 kilometers to the inpatient and the tenants of the healthcare facilities. And the second hydrogen explosion has occurred, and 11 workers injured. There are no death in the nuclear disaster, fortunately. And one more, oops, sorry. And one more, and radioactivity in the Fukosima city dramatically increased within half a day. That means air pollution. Therefore, there's a new order that please stay inside in the house within 30 kilometers of inhabit. And on the March 15th, 4 days after, almost 4 days after, all inhabitants within 20 kilometers are evacuated. So the people lost their hometown and the community, and still they cannot come back to their hometown. They are, inhabitants within the 20 kilometers from the power plant are still restricted to come back. But spread of radioactive materials, not only the problem of distance. Distance is not the only determinant. The direction of the wind is also an important factor. Well, there's a plant, just go away. So some places are free from radioactive materials. This is capital city Tokyo, and my city Ichihara are fortunately free from the radioactive materials. I said that there's no acute death in this nuclear disaster. It is well known that if you receive 7 sievert, 99% of you will die. And ICRP recommended that public dose should be less than 1 millisievert per year, and occupational dose, I mean the nuclear workers should be an average of 20 millisievert over 5 years. And sorry, this slide is written in Japanese, but this is the intensity of radiation of ordinary life. For example, flight from Tokyo to New York, like this. This is a natural radiation. Some countries, some areas has silent radioactivity, but this is iatrogenic. Chest X-ray or CT scan and cardiac catheters and cancer therapy. So it's often the case to receive unusual radioactivity, but it's controlled. And medical use of radiation is controlled quite well. So therefore, once a nuclear disaster happened, if you control, so there's no damage to the human life and also human health. I checked different kind of radiation disaster. I know APA-2 was used as a bomb. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There are 2 nuclear bombs used, but both of them are for Japan. In the World War II, the Hiroshima, it killed 140,000 people within 4 months. And in the case of Nagasaki, killed 73,000 within 5 months. And there are chronic problems still going on. They are now old, but they are always worrying about that atomic bomb damages my health. And this is a Bikini Atoll, also a hydrogen bomb. It is an experiment. Therefore, the people around the islands are moved away, evacuated. But unfortunately, one Japanese fishing boat got the radioactive materials. So one Japanese fisherman dead by hydrogen bomb. But how about the energy plant? No acute death. I know that one worker dead because of acute myocardial infarction. Some may say that it is because of radiation, but I don't think so. But I don't know about chronic damage, because 10 or 20 years after, some kind of cancer may increase in number. This is cases of energy plant accident. Windscare in England, this is the first case, and 3 Mile Island in the United States, and Chernobyl in USSR, Ukraine, and now Fukushima. And APA-2 level at 5. This means accident with a wider spread of the wider effect on wider area. And Chernobyl and Fukushima are the only two cases of level 7. Level 7 means a major accident. But acute death is quite rare. Chernobyl is the exception. The nuclear problem is the chronic ones. Especially Chernobyl has a big problem in the chronic health care. I have no data at this moment in Fukushima. As a result of nuclear contamination, people around the power plant were forced to move out. Cattle and pet animals are left in the affected area. And agriculture and marine products are refused. And in product around Fukushima and near close area are refused from market. So victims are not only human beings, but also animals. Cattle are left, and many pet animals are left too. They may starve or revert to wilderness. I guess there's nobody who pet a lion or a tiger in that area, but in some cases, some dog. This is a dog for dog fighting dog of Japan, and thought to be very ferocious. So that might get back to wilderness and may harm to the people and human beings. And also there is a false report. I told you that some inpatients are left in the affected area. Sorry. There was a Futaba hospital, and correctly speaking, it's not only a hospital, but a combination of hospital and asylum and nursing homes within 20 kilometers and exploded plant. 130 patients and inhabitants are evacuated, but 98 inpatients are left. Almost all of them are disabled and demented. It is caused by the communication fault among Japan self-defense, military service, and the police office and the local government. But newspapers and the TV reported that hospital staffs ran away without left the patient. But it's not true. And more than that, this is a bad reputation, and that medical staff, the doctors and nurses, sort of shocked that they did the best, but the newspapers said that doctors and the nurses in Fukushima is very bad. They abolish patient. Therefore, not a few medical staffs left Fukushima. So, from the viewpoint of medical service, the triple disaster almost totally broke medical service system in the affected area. This area is basically underpopulated, and a flux of people may accelerate breakdown of medical service system. and also effects of doctors and nurses accelerate breakdown of the medical service system. This is another problem. Finally, as a conclusion, lessons we learned from Fukushima are: radioactivity rarely kills man, but radioactivity may kill man slowly and silently. Radioactivity kills community. It's the biggest problem. Even a rumor kills community. Once contaminated, forever discriminated. And now, Japan government and also food market prohibit the circulation of contaminated food. Therefore, I'm not afraid that the contamination will accumulate inside the Japanese people. But nuclear plant, it is obvious that a nuclear plant is a good target of terrorism. Unbelievable to say, but there are so many nuclear power plants in Japan, in this seismo like country. Population within 30 kilometers from nuclear plant are 4 million in total. The biggest one is Tokai Daini, 930,000, and Hamaoka, 744,000, within 30 kilometers. And if the Fukushima Daiichi exploded at the same level of Chernobyl, the effect must cover capital city Tokyo. Fortunately, and also by the effort of those who concerned, we are free from this situation. And now, next major earthquakes and tsunami is expected in the middle south coast of Honshu and Shikoku. So now, Japan stopped all nuclear power plant and thinking what to do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, environmental pollution, especially pollution of air and water, is definitely a disaster. And all human beings inhabit this small planet. Therefore, some major accident in one country affect the other countries. We have to keep the good environment for ourselves and the future generation, and enjoy the life. Thank you very much for your attention.